I would have loved for the DLC to add a Nefeli ending. Nefeli, you good? Alright, I want to try to aggro the dogs before I start the fight, because the dogs, in every Souls game, dogs and rats are the most annoying enemies. Alright, let's, oh, I have the wrong spell selected. Let's get a little bit of lightning here. I need to increase my FP at some point, because we're going to start relying on magic more heavily as we progress into the DLC. But this is pretty solid because of the poise damage that it does. And Knight's Lightning Spear does just absolutely killer poise damage. There we go. So we'll let Nefeli have her revenge. She's working through some things. Alright, so that's 2 down. There should be another dog around here somewhere. There's a rune arc down there, I believe. Which, I basically never use rune arcs. And that's not a flex. It's just, to me, well, one, like, the first time I played the game, I didn't really know what they did. And then once I learned what they did, to me, it was kind of this thing of, like, I didn't want my ability to progress. I've not been marking things, hold on. I didn't want my ability to progress in the game to be tied. I don't know if you can talk to Nefeli again after the fight. I think I'm just done here. I don't think Nefeli has more dialogue. I don't know that I've ever actually tried to talk to Nefeli again after the fight's over. Let's see if there's anything new that she has to say. But yeah, my thing was like, I didn't want my ability to progress the game to be tied to a non-renewable or like a resource I had to keep. Yeah, okay, so I don't think there's anything else to do with Nefeli here. Even though it says that she's here, I think that's just a holdover because I haven't sat at a side of grace. So let's go over and talk to Latena. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, so when I first played Elden Ring, like, one, I laugh now to think like how ridiculously over-leveled I was when I beat the game. The first time I beat the game, I was like level 185 or like level 215 or something. And I didn't know what I was doing. I put my stats in all the wrong places. I had a really hard time, and I got the game when it launched. And so I tried to play a samurai back before they made some adjustments to make that kind of a less frustrating experience. Did I mark Aiden? Okay. And I just didn't have a good time, so then I decided to switch over to an intelligence build, but, you know, the game was brand new, nobody knew anything about it, really. And so I put my stats in all the wrong places. I was using, you know, a very poor build setup for my spells. It was just, it's silly now. But, you know, that's experience of a Souls game, right? Like, you know, especially because, like, I had played the mess out of Demon Souls. I'm about to admit to a cardinal sin as a Souls player. So my introduction to all of these, I actually played Kingsfield back when I was a kid. I probably never got very far. I think that's just an Arturia leaf in there. But I played Kingsfield as a kid, and I thought it was fascinating. And then I don't even know how I heard about Demon Souls. I think it was like from some magazine. I forgot that you were in the bushes. I think it was from some magazine. But I heard about Demon Souls, and I heard, it just fascinated me. It was like this crazy, super duper hardcore dark fantasy Western style game by a Japanese dev. And that was such a fascinating concept to me. You know, this not that Japanese devs had never done a Western style game before, but to that magnitude, I don't think anybody had really recently done something like, oh, I had the wrong potion up. Right? I mean, Wizardry was a thing, Record of Lodoss War was a thing, Dungeons and Dragons was made by Capcom, so like obviously they weren't the first, but to that degree was just crazy. So I imported Demon Souls, I believe, from China first, because the Chinese version had an English localization, if I'm not mistaken. So I imported it from China, and I played the mess out of it, and, you know, I had much more disposable time at the time. I was a kid, so, well, not a kid, I was like, I don't know, high school, college age, whenever Demon Souls came out. And I had more time, so I wanted like the true hardest experience. So I played whatever the equivalent of the Deprived was. And I beat the game after many hours of failure and learning and getting good. And then I beat it as whichever one wanderer maybe that had the axe, and then I beat it as the royal, and it was just such an amazing experience. And I imported it from Korea because I had heard, I don't know if it's true, I've never followed it up in modern times, but I had heard that the Korean version had different balancing than the Chinese version. So I imported the Korean version and I played the mess out of that. And then finally Atlas picked up the ball and brought it to America because Sony had no interest in bringing it over. What I'd heard was Shuhei Ishida specifically had said that he thought it was a garbage game that just wasn't going to sell. And so then Atlas picked up the slack and brought it over. Ooh, yep, I did that all bad. Yeah, so then Atlas brought it over to the West, and I bought a copy then, and I loved Demon Souls so much. And then Dark Souls came out, and I didn't like that game at all. God, it is really hard to tell the story and do this fight at the same time. Yeah, so Dark Souls came out. Whenever I try to play this for content, I'm like, I understand why people that stream Elden Ring like stop talking to their audience when they get to boss fights, because it is very hard to tell stories and be engaging while you're also doing a boss fight. For me, anyways. Hello, Latena. So Dark Souls came out, and I picked up Dark Souls, and I was so excited, and I hated the game. I missed the mission-based structure from Demon Souls. I couldn't get into Dark Souls, and I know that's like a cardinal sin. How dare I? Oh my gosh, drag him, destroy him. He dared besmirch Dark Souls. Get good, scrub. But I just really did not enjoy it. And then I didn't enjoy Dark Souls 2, and I never beat either of them. And then I played some of Dark Souls 3, and how do I want to do this? I've already got 25 faith with the talisman, so I think I want to get to 25 vigor, I think. And so recently I played some Dark Souls 3 and I started having more fun with it, but I didn't get into Dark Souls. I'm trying to remember why I was telling that story. Hold on. Oh god, this is the problem with telling a story that takes this much like playtime to get to, is then I completely forget why I was telling the story. Alright, well I genuinely don't remember why I was telling that story, so I'll have to fix it in post, I guess. Sorry guys.
Tarnished. What do you want? I told the all-hearing brute that I possess no such medallion. Or have you come to take more from me? Was my other half not enough?
So now we show that
You speak true.
we were trusted by the old man, Albus.
Entrusted his medallion to you. Then I have no choice but to trust that this was his dying will. Let's try again. I'm Latena, an Albinoric, the same as old Albus. My apologies for my coarse words earlier. I presume the worst. Seeing that you're another tarnished like that all-hearing brute, I hope that you will forgive me. The medallion's better off in your hands anyway. Would you consider doing me a great service? I must go back. There is something I must do, even if I must say farewell to my wolf Lobo. Will you show me the way? To the land of Miquella's Halig tree. If you accept, I would gladly apprise you of the whereabouts of the medallion's other half. Thank you kindly. They say the other half of the medallion is beyond the Forbidden Lands, north of the Erdtree, in Castle Sol, on the mountain tops of the Giants, accessible by the Grand Lift of Rold. Then I suppose it's time. Farewell, Lobo. My faithful wolf. My better half. I will go with the Tarnished, so that our journey will not have been in vain. Forgive me, Lobo. upon me when needed, and I will fight at your side.
Okay, so fun fact about Latena is if you summon her, she can't walk because all Albinaurics have a flaw where their legs stop working at some point pretty early on in their life, which is why you just see them crawling at you. And all the Albinauric females have a wolf that is their companion. I don't know if I've never seen an Albinauric male with a wolf, but all the Albinauric females have a wolf as their companion. And so, did I mark that area? Okay. Let's mark Lakeside Crystal Cave. Okay. Uh, let's go here, I guess. Did I already... I guess I already fought the dragon. Oops. Okay. Albinauric females have a wolf as their companion. And if you summon Latana, all she can do is just kind of lay where you summoned her. I don't think she crawls anywhere. I think she just lays where you summoned her and fires arrows from a distance, which with the proper setup, if you protect her, she can be good at like kind of taking the heat off of you in boss fights. But the other neat thing about Latena is that if you summon her near a wolf, she'll actually mount the wolf and can ride the wolf around in battle, which is really neat. So now let's go... Where are we going? Let's go over here. We can take care of... Actually, hold on. Let me... Is that Bowls? I think that's Bowls. Let me get a Side of Grace over here because we're going to need to kind of go back and forth in this area a little bit. So let's just get the Side of Grace up here. Then we'll double back. And knock out a couple of encounters there. That is the Jellyfish Shield over there. And it is a fantastic shield for increasing your damage output. It's Ash of War, you like splash something on you, and it increases your attack damage. I don't know how much by. I think it's a percentage scaling. So now let's go. I believe this is Bowls. In the Cuckoo's Ever Jail. Alright, what do we got here? Yep, it's Bowls, Carrion Knight, let's go! Okay. So you see that tombstone looking thing inside of his body? I don't remember specifically right now, because like I said, it's been a while since I've like given a great deal of thought to Elden Ring's lore. But I believe the stones were some manner of inhibitor that Marika used to control the trolls. And you can actually find a bunch of those tablets in her bedchambers. Like just all over the place. Those slabs are just everywhere in her chambers. Oh, come on with that. That's so obnoxious. So obnoxious. Okay, that's fine, whatever. Come on with that. So, I'm just kind of thinking... what I'm going to do about Renala. Because... No. I'm kind of thinking what I'm going to do about Renala because I don't have a good build for her. I think I might take Holy Infusion off of my sword when I go fight Renala. Because there's not really another weapon that I want to pivot to. I mean, I have Bloodhound, actually. I think maybe I'll use Bloodhound when I fight Renala. Because she resists Holy. Okay, so let's go this way. Because there's a Memory Stone over here, and also another Erd Tree Avatar. So we can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone over here. Okay, so oh! Really? Okay, I thought I had to talk to Edgar again. So Edgar goes crazy after his daughter is unalived, and he becomes the Revenger, and he is out for your blood, which is why you shouldn't feel bad about taking him out for his spin to win, which is amazing when you add blood infusion to it. Could you not? Could you not? Could you not? Please and thank you. I just want to see like what his stagger points are, because like so many of these fights I don't do the way that I'm doing them now, so I'm kind of using a little bit of this to like learn certain mechanics about these fights that I wouldn't have otherwise. Let's two-hand this. Let's see if I can get a stun on that. That move is great when you're fighting the Great Jar's warriors. I think it's like Repulsion or something. I don't remember the name of that move. Yeah, okay, that Banished Knight's Halberd. That weapon is amazing. And we got a Shibari Grape out of that also. So we have... Oh yeah, I was going to do the description of the Shibari Grapes. Okay, let me finish my thoughts. So that weapon is great with spinning a slash, and then you put Blood Fusion on it, and it's just an amazing weapon. He goes crazy after losing his daughter. Yellow oozing eyeball of the infirm. And so, a yellow oozing eyeball of the infirm, the surface is shriveled and the inside is squishy, not unlike a large, overly ripe grape. Give to the blind maiden to guide her to the distant light. So, these Shibari grapes, she's literally eating people's eyeballs. That they are, she's talking about like all the screaming she hears when somebody gives her a Shibari grape in devotion. They kind of are like worshipping her. And she later realizes the screaming is because they are literally plucking out their eyeballs. And when she consumes their eyeball, she can see this prick of golden light. And that is very Bloodborne. The idea of insight being associated with something ocular. And I don't know the old dude's name. Fear the old blood, by God, fear it. But he has eyeballs inside of his head. Like, I mean, we all do, but like literally inside of his skull, he has eyeballs. It's gross. Okay, so we are going to just go grab this memory stone, and we're going to go fight an Erd Tree Avatar. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. There we come on, come on. And there's actually three memory stones you can get in Liurnia, which is fitting. So there's one here. Then we have another tower up yonder here that has a memory stone. It's kind of an annoying tower. And then when you defeat the Red Wolf of Radagon in the Academy, then you get another memory stone. But there's only like 3 spells that we want to use on this build, so we don't need that many. We're going to do a quick detour, just as long as I'm in this area, to go ahead and grab this Site of Grace, because I don't think we're going to do it now. But we can go back to the Precipice at the start of the game, and we can fight the Revenant that whooped our tail at the beginning. I believe I have only ever beaten that Revenant as a samurai. You can parry a lot of its attacks, but I'm not very good at parrying. Like, I'm good at very specific parrying. Like, you saw me parry kill the, whatchamacallit? Where's that Site of Grace? Did I not go high enough yet? You saw me parry kill the, Crucible Knight, but like I had to learn that. When I was younger, I had really good parry timing, but I don't know. I don't have the timing like I used to anymore. And I like trading damage enough that I'm not really inclined to practice parrying to get better at it, so I'm not good at parrying. If you are, you can parry the Rail Revenant. You know, as long as we're over here, let's just go ahead and do this real quick. But the Rail Revenant as the Samurai is a really easy takedown to me. Because you just kind of keep your distance and use your arrows for most of it, and then if you run out of arrows, you kind of close the distance and finish things off with your katana. You know what I would love? I don't have the stats for it. Is I would love to pivot from Bloodhound to Reduvia, Such a great weapon. So now we're back at the precipice. And we are going to say hello to our old friend. I wonder how he likes Lightning Spear. I really need to get the Radagon icon. Dodged way too soon on that. Oh, right. If I put my sword away, then I lose the blessing. Who are you yelling at? You are very rude. So I didn't know, I wasn't close enough to do it, but if you're like right on him when he starts doing that spinning slash, if you walk if you walk clockwise with him, he can't hit you. Like, that was the craziest thing. I learned that on accident yesterday, actually. One thing I want to try, but I just muscle memory, I don't know if I could do it, is I've seen other people put their flasks on like the hold Y instead of the tap Y, like, or the hold Y instead of having it be something you scroll through, and you don't actually have to wait for this. So you see, like, I hold Y, and then like a second later, the menu pops up. You don't actually have to wait for the menu to change to use your hold Y abilities. So it seems like the hold Y would be a much better strat for my potions, but it's like, I've been playing for 1,700 hours this way. I feel like my muscle memory would be a little hard to change at that point. But I've always been curious to try that out. Okay, so we're going to pop over here. This is where we started. As you can see, here's the door that we opened up. And there's the maiden, the finger maiden. I don't know whose maiden this was, but what's interesting is this door over here is locked when you start the game. And even if you manage to defeat the Revenant, the door is still locked. But then we get the Stormhawk King, which... Ashes of a hawk revered by all others as sovereign back in the days when Stormvale's winds still raged like no other. This ancient monarch is proud, however, refusing to answer anyone's summons. So you need the Stormhawk King to progress Nepheli's questline. And Stormhawk Dean is the Stormhawk that we can summon. So we'll just go ahead and we'll mark this. And I think it's fine to count this as a Liurnia, or as a, Liurnia boss, even though this is kind of sort of in the Limgrave area, because you need to get to Liurnia to come back here anyways. So I think it's fine to consider that to be part of the Liurnia run. I don't know when other people normally do it, but, you know, I think whenever you want to go and deal with that boss, it's kind of like we can't actually technically do every Liurnia boss, because there's up here is where we finish Randy's questline, so you can't actually finish Adula before you leave Liurnia. As always, we leave the jellyfish alone, these poor innocent children, but we do want that shield. So now we are going to go over yonder. We're going to get another Site of Grace, another map fragment. I don't remember what's in there. You know, maybe... I'm probably going to get myself killed trying to get this, but I think that's a sword I might actually want. Okay, Carrion Knight Sword. I mean, probably not. Like, it's... I think the Carrion Knight Sword already has an ability on it. Carrion Grander. Yeah. I mean, that would be nice if I was doing like a Battle Mage intelligence type of build. But hey, you know, it's nice to have options. What are the stat requirements? Probably intelligence, right? Yeah. I'm not putting any points into intelligence. So now, over here is another memory fragment. Memory stone, whatever. And this one is annoying to me to get, because it's not hard. You need to have some kind of a ranged option to do it. It's not hard, it's just, like, the third turtle is just in an obnoxious location. I think this one and like I actually don't mind the Vanishing Tower. I don't think that's too bad. It's kind of fun having a little scavenger hunt. But the tower to get Ranni's Dark Moon, which we won't do in this playthrough because we're not doing an intelligence build. That'll be another time. But oh gosh, okay, where's the first hurdle? I just did this last night. Okay, so there it is. I was like, there's supposed to be a turtle like right in front of me. What is happening? The turtles that you have to take down to get Ranni's Dark Moon are just really kind of obnoxious to find. This one's not bad. So we have the one turtle over there, and then we have a turtle up in a tree right here. This is the one that you have to have a ranged option to get. Please. Thank you. And then the last turtle always annoys me because it's just like I can never remember which hill to look over to get it. But I believe it's like just to the right of the stairs is where you look down and you can see the last turtle. So you want to go back over here. There's the stairs. So then if we go up here, then the last turtle I believe is just like right overside nearby here. If I'm not mistaken. There it is. Yeah, and like, normally I just end up riding in circles for a long time, trying to avoid falling. Normally I end up just riding in circles for a long time, trying to like find where the crap that turtle is. And like, depending on, for me anyways, depending on if you're going clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on if you are going clockwise or counterclockwise, it is harder or easier to see that turtle. Counterclockwise, it's easy for me. Clockwise, I always miss the turtle. And I guess you could just jump down and run the circle, but anyways. So we're going to climb up here and get another memory stone. Okay. Now... I mean, I guess as long as we're over here, I could go ahead and start Ranni's questline. Let me think. I kind of want to save the magma worm for last. Well, I mean, I'm saving Renala for last, but... Yeah, God, this is just such a weird area for boss placements. I know there's another death bird. I actually took on the harder death bird first, because it's like a death right bird is the one by the north town side of Grace. And then there's a death bird. Ah, biscuits. I just remembered a boss I have to do. Again, like when you play the game long enough, you kind of reach this point where like you stop doing the parts that are annoying to you. Yeah, it's that thing where like when you first play any Souls game, yeah, you can kind of hear them muttering. That's what I was talking about earlier, that like the nobles will mutter also, but I don't remember what they mutter about. But when you first play any new Souls game, there's all these moments of majestic wonder. And then you keep playing, and those moments of majestic wonder just get really, really obnoxious. And like some of those areas that you're like, oh my god, like the first time you go down to Shafra, it's like, oh my god, it's so beautiful, Shafra's amazing, oh my goodness. And then you beat the game a few times, and you're like, oh my god, I hate Shafra. Like, with these frickin' archers, with their, like, endless homing and blah, blah, blah. So, I kind of just stopped doing the parts that I find obnoxious. This is a boss fight that I hate. So I just don't do it. Because I don't enjoy it. I hate the Royal Revenant with a passion. So I don't fight the Royal Revenant. Oh, hi. Mr. Slappy. Mr. Slappy Hands. You can tell I don't fight this boss, because I'm horrible at it. That move there, if you can avoid the start of it, is fine. But if you can't, Mr. Slappy Hand's gonna get you. He usually comes out spitting poison. Yeah, I hate this boss. I never really learned to be good at this fight. I assume that's only from the front, yeah. Leave me alone, Mr. Slappy Hands! You know, I could just tank this with my shield. Yeah, I hate the Royal Revenant fight so much. I'm very bad at it. I never learned how to get good at it. Although I believe this is where you get the Frozen Needle, which I'm not great with thrusting weapons, but it's a really fun weapon. Yeah, Frozen Needle. And you can pair Frozen Needle with the Ant Spur Rapier, which you get in the Altus area. I think by Shaded Castle.